Hi, Nancy Golden here, and I have a word for somebody today because this was on my heart, and I just want to share this thought with you. You know, sometimes you just pray and pray and pray and pray and pray to the Lord for some things to happen, and years go by, and nothing happens on your behalf for the very thing that you've been praying for. And you look around and you say, well, Lord, you bless that person and that person and that person, but what about me? My prayer hasn't been answered yet. And it doesn't mean that the Lord doesn't hear you. He hears every prayer. He hears you. But sometimes we have to wait on the Lord. It doesn't happen immediately. There are things that the Lord wants us to do and learn and grow before He gives us the desires of our heart. Doesn't mean that He's not going to give it to you. It just means that you have to wait. Now, that waiting period is not where you're sitting and just waiting. Lord, I hope it happens, I hope it happens. No, that waiting process is very active. While you're waiting, you're praying. While you're waiting, you're talking to the Lord. You're sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ. You're ministering to people. You're working in your ministry. You're going to church. You're learning. You're going to Bible study. You're giving your time. You're doing everything that you're supposed to do as a Christian ought, but you're still waiting on God to answer your prayer. And He will answer your prayer because He's a promise keeper. He is not one that will lie. But if you're waiting, it means that God is not ready to reveal to you what He has for you yet. Doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It just means that you have to wait. Now, if you go ahead of the Lord, then you might run into some danger, because what you might get is not what He had for you, it's what you had for you. And when we go ahead of God, that means we're saying to Him, Lord, I'm not trusting you. I trust myself over you. And He'll let you trust yourself over Him. But the end result will not be a positive one, because we serve a holy God who's all knowing, all powerful, and all present. We're limited. We're flawed. We don't know half of what God knows. We don't know anything compared to the Lord. So we wait on the Lord and be of good courage. But the waiting is active. And while you're waiting, you're trusting, you're believing, you're praising, and you know that it's going to happen. Maybe not right now, but as soon as God sees fit. Move yourself out of the way, move your pride out of the way, and let God make the decisions for you. Let God lead your life. Let God grant you the desires of your heart.